Political parties in Mexico formally picked presidential candidates. On Sunday, the ruling institution Revolutionary Party selected Jose Antonio in front of the thousands of cheering party members at a Mexico City stadium. The other candidate is a former mayor, Lopez Obrador. Antonio has lost support in recent polls as he struggles against public anger at the government over violence and corruption scandals. With 6 weeks to go before campaigning begins for the July 1st vote, his campaign says early polls have traditionally been unreliable indicators of final results in Mexico. Hungarian leader Viktor Orbán has called for a global alliance against migration as his right-wing populist Fidesz party began campaigning for an April 8 election. Orbán said that Europe faces a critical fissure between nation-states of the east and the west, which he called an immigrant zone. Orbán also said the Hungarian opposition has failed to refer to history when it opposed his toughness on migrants. The voters have responded favorably to Orbán's speech, and Orbán is a clear leader of all polls. Israeli President Reuven Rivlin condemned the Polish Prime Minister's remarks, in which he said that Jewish population collaborated with the Nazis during the Second World War. On Sunday, swastikas and anti-Polish profanities were daubed on the entrance to Poland's embassy in Israel and sparked international criticism over its stance on the facts of the Holocaust when it passed a law imposing jail terms for suggesting the country was complicit in the deaths of millions of Jewish people during the war. Anti-Russian activists smashed windows in 2 Russian banks and a Russian center in Kyiv on Sunday. According to the Ukrainian media, around 100 activists threw stones, bottles and eggs at the offices of Russia's Sberbank and Alfa banks, as well as the Federal Agency for the Commonwealth of Independent States Affairs. There was no immediate information about detentions. Relations between Russia and Ukraine plummeted after the annexation of the Crimean Peninsula in 2014 and the beginning of the pro-Moscow uprising in eastern Ukraine. A team of 6 Israeli researchers on Sunday ended a Mars habitat experiment in a mock-up built in Israel's Negev desert, where they simulated living conditions on the red planet. The experiment was held near the isolated Israeli township of Mitzpe Ramon, whose surroundings resemble the Martian environment in its geology. The DMARS project was being held in Israel for the first time in cooperation with the Israel Space Agency. It is one of a number of Mars simulation projects taking place worldwide. Around 10,000 supporters of the recently deported Ukrainian opposition leader Mikhail Saakashvili marched on Sunday through Kyiv streets and gathered for a meeting. The protesters demanded the return of the politician into the country and changes in the authority. The opposition leader was deported to Poland on 12 February after he was detained in Kyiv restaurant by law enforcement agents. Latvia's anti-corruption agency has detained the central bank governor, prompting calls for him to step aside while he's under investigation. Latvia's prime minister has not said why the bank governor, a member of the European Central Bank's governing council, had been detained or what he was being instigated for. However, in an email statement, he attempted to reassure people that the economy was stable. The Latvian Central Bank is an independent institution. Five women were shot dead in an attack on an Orthodox church in Russia's North Caucasus region on Sunday, according to local press reports. An unidentified gunman fired at worshippers in the small town of Kislyar. At least 5 other people, including 2 Russian police officers, were wounded in the attack. Now, the attacker was killed by police fire. He was a local man in his early 20s. The attacker had opened fire on churchgoers following an afternoon service. A training unit under the Chinese People's Liberation Army Rocket Force conducted a military dog championship during the Spring Festival to enhance their skills and also celebrate the festival. The first competition was fire ringing jumping with its difficult level set from easy to difficult. The championship tested cooperation between the dogs and their trainers and their real combat capability. Londoners welcomed the Year of the Dog over the weekend with a festive Chinese New Year parade in central London. Locals and tourists went to the city's Chinatown to watch performers dressed in traditional costumes, dancing and parading a giant dragon down the capital streets. And London's Chinese New Year celebration is one of the biggest outside of Asia, attracting around 700,000 people. The celebrations are also known as Spring Festival and will continue for about 15 days. Southwest China's Chongqing municipality attracted around 10,000 spectators as they celebrated a spectacular dragon dance in the midst of a dazzling molten iron fireworks. The folk performance incorporated molten iron fireworks. The molten iron was heated to temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius before being launched into the air by 20 artists, creating an incredible light show. The short 10-minute performance was held to pray for a good harvest. Russian celebrated Pancake Week, welcoming the end of winter and beginning of Orthodox Lent. Maslentia is originally a pagan holiday adopted by the Orthodox Church as the week in which people can feast on pancakes with all sorts of toppings, preparing them for Orthodox Lent, where observers must fast and meat and dairy are forbidden. In Moscow, thousands of people gathered to celebrate, play in the snow and eat pancakes at Kolomenskoye Park. Pancakes are said to symbolize the sun and ward off any lingering cold weather at the end of the winter. Former cricketer and Pakistan politician Imran Khan is married for the third time. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf chief tied the knot with Bushra Riaz Bhutto. According to reports, Bushra Bibi, believed to be in her 40s, belongs to the Bhutto clan and is a spiritual guide based in Punjab. Bibi has 3 daughters and 2 sons from her former husband, who is a senior customs official in Islamabad.